This international break has just come at the perfect time, which is such a strange thing to say because usually we hate international breaks. They always get in the way. And in September, October, November, there's like 3 in a row. It's so strange. We've only played 12 games of football. It feels like we've had so many international games already. And we've got 2 more weeks until the next game. But to be honest, I am glad that it's the international break because what's going on at Tottenham Hotspur right now is just a bit of a circus, really. And a lot of it is just unfortunate luck, and some of it is our own doing. Now, back in Monday, about a week or so ago, we went 2-0 up against Chelsea. Son scored a beautiful team goal. He capped off a beautiful team goal, and the fans were absolutely buzzing. The atmosphere was electric. It was like a cauldron that was bubbling to the surface. But then that goal gets disallowed correctly for offside by just that much. I don't want to get into my thoughts of VAR now, but when it's just that much, surely you just got to play attacker's advantage, like how we used to do. But I'm just not a fan of VAR anymore. Anyway, it was the correct decision. And ever since that moment of that disallowed goal, something shifted because we were dominating. And then all of a sudden, we let them back into the game. And after the 15th minute, it was all Chelsea. It was all them. And then we start making reckless challenges. We start flying into tackles. We start getting aggressive. And old habits die hard because we fell apart. Which is just so sad because from the potential cusp of going 2-0 up to then being down to 9 men and then losing Van der Ven and losing Maddison, 2 absolute key players to the system, as well as a red card to our other best defender and our best left back, is just so much to deal with. And on the bench we only had Eric Dyer as a defender really to come on, so we were playing with 1 centre back for a lot of the game, which is why we didn't replace Sanchez in the summer. We even sold Sanchez after the transfer deadline, so we didn't even have time to bring in a replacement. And I know for a fact that when Van der Ven was signed, Postecoglou said, yeah, but we need 1 more defender. And that defender never came. And instead we lost a defender in Sanchez, who is actually far more suited to Ange ball. We saw that against Barcelona. That Davinson's far more suited to Ange ball. He was playing out the back quite well, and he's still quite a quick lad, Davinson is as well. However, Eric Dyer was just not suited at all for Ange ball. Now, Dyer, I thought that he played really well against Chelsea, actually. Defended really well. And that's great and all, but now he's our starting centre-back. So how was he going to do when he had to start a game? And we had that answer as Ange picked the safest lineup he possibly could. I wanted Ange to go bold, but I understand why he picked a lineup of Højbjerg, Bissouma and Sarr. But honestly, Lo Celso needed to start. Honestly, Phillips needed to start. Davis and Phillips at the back, that is awful for a team that's challenging at the top, but circumstances. Davis and Phillips at the back was what had to happen because Dyer's leaving anyway. He's only got a year left on his contract. Why not throw Phillips to the Wolves? See what he's made of. He only costs 2 million. If he's not good, we don't have to play him. We've got Dorrington on the academy as well. But we just needed something, not Dyer, because now look, he didn't have the worst game. Didn't have a great game either, but he was at fault for those 2 goals. Him and Højbjerg and Royale were just switched off for those goals, and that is just unacceptable. And I know a lot of it's rustiness, but we can't afford that, especially when we're playing 1 game a week, especially when all our rivals dropped points and we failed to capitalise. We were actually the trendsetters. We first initially dropped the points, and I think only Liverpool and Arsenal won their game. So if we had held on in the 91st minute, we were 1-0 up. If we had held on, we'd be top of the league right now. or even if we drew, we'd be level at the top. And it's just, when you think about it, we concede all those goals in extra time for all the chances we missed against Chelsea. We could have been like 6 points clear. But football's a funny game. It is what it is. And at the start of the season, if you told any Spurs fan after 12 games you're going to be 8 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, we'd have bitten your hand off. We'd take that any day. So we can't really be complaining too much. The Wolves game's on Postecoglou for such a safe lineup, but he didn't really have much of a choice. You can't really blame him. There's such a lack of creativity in that midfield, and it's really depressing to see. Monday was just a vice-captain not taking responsibility and losing his head. He's been so good this season, but that's not just cost us 3 points, that's cost us 6 points. Because his absence is felt against Wolves. And if we lose to Villa as well, it might have cost us 9 points. So that was a detrimental sending off. Now, Udogie, calm, he's a young player. It happens, he'll learn. Romero, he's no young player. He's a full Argentine international, World Cup winner, Serie A and Premier League proven, Serie A Team of the Year. And this is the man who I believe has a red card in every 17 games he's played for us. It's not good enough, and this is almost his last chance. Otherwise, that captain's armband, that vice-captaincy needs to be taken away from him if he gets another red card, because he keeps letting the side down. And it's not okay. And the picture's looking bleak now because of that sucker punch to Wolves. Overall, it's looking good, but the last 2 weeks you just can't deny that it was really painful. It's been really painful this last week because of where we could have been. We could have been at the top of the table. Not saying that we're going to win the league. I'm not at all. I'm just happy to get top 5, because top 5 is Champions League. That's all we're happy to get, and that's all that matters. And it's been a while since I've done one of these catch-ups, so I think last time I was still waiting for like Bentancur to come back from injury, and he's not looking the same player that he was. He's playing to like 30% of his potential right now. Same with Basuma, ever since that red card against Luton. It feels almost like, because he's been on that like 1 yellow card away from suspension, he's almost been playing too safe. And now that he is suspended from the next game against Villa, I feel like hopefully we'll see Basuma back for Villa. I'm quite confident of beating Villa because it's at home. If we were away, I'd think they'd trash us 4-0. But I feel like we should be able to get our stuff together. We should be able to get our defence organised in time for that Villa game, because that's a big game. Villa are 5th. I think there's like 3 points separating 1st and 5th right now. And Villa are 5th. If they win, we could drop down to 5th ourselves. But if we win, we keep pace at the top. We're only 2 points off the top. It's somehow we've ended up here. But yeah, we should be clear, but it is what it is. Anyway, I fully support the players and the manager. I genuinely can't be happier with our DNA and our play style and our ethos, because you got to look at the bigger picture. Postecoglou's been in 3 months, and he's lost Harry Kane. He's lost the club's, arguably the club's best ever Premier League player. He is, besides Bale. He's dealt with a lot of adversity so far, and now this is an even bigger challenge. But you're going to tell me that a man who's coached in Australia, in Japan, in Scotland, that he's not dealt with adversity? Of course he has. He's adaptable. I believe he's 58 years old. Of course he's adaptable. He's managed all over the world. So let's see how he handles this situation. The Villa game's a big one for us. If we lose it, I'm not confident about top 5 anymore. If we win it, yeah, of course top 5, but it's a big game. What I want to do anyway is I want to go through, I think it's the right time to go player by player and talk about the season they're having and giving them a little rating as well, because we've seen a lot of football. We've seen a lot of the boys now. We've seen a lot about them. So we're going to go through them, starting with Guglielmo Vicario, and he's just continued to be one of our best players this season, especially against Chelsea. It could have been a cricket score against Chelsea. It could have been 8-0 to Chelsea, 8-1. But Vicario, with his just prime Manuel Neuer-like sweeper keeping, unbelievable. And he's just looking really solid. Besides the Chelsea game, he's looking really solid. And I can't really think of any goals that he should have saved at all, really. I feel like every goal he's conceded has just been unavoidable, really. And I'm so happy with him. He's so calm at the back. I've not had calmness like this since Lloris was in his prime. And even when Lloris was in his prime, He was an amazing keeper, but he still always had these errors in him. And Tottenham Hotspur are still one of the only 3 teams yet to make an error leading to a goal this season, which is so strange considering last season I think we had the most. Don't know that for a fact, but it feels like it. But if Eric Dyer's starting in the next few games, then maybe that stat will be broken soon. But hopefully Phillips will start over Dyer. I do want to see a Davis and Phillips combination. Vicario super happy with Forster. I'm still annoyed about the penalty shootout. Dived the same way he did the same pathetic dive. I can't talk about him, I'll get too angry. Porro, he's been one of my favourite players this season. He's the definition of just a top baller for me. He's so skillful. He's just a beautiful footballer to watch. His assist against Burnley, the one where he's on the halfway line, he bends a beautiful through ball into the path of Son for him to score his hat-trick. Beautiful through ball. Yeah, what a tidy footballer. And he's added such grit and determination to his defending. And it's so nice to see that he's improved so much. And he's just one of our best players. And he's integral to the Postecoglou system. And he's just so versatile too. He can play that wing-back role. He can play the inverted full-back role. And it looks like if he needs to, he can play the full-back role and defend quite well as well. So I'm very happy with Porro, and everyone should be, honestly, as well. There's a lot of photos and videos coming out. I think a lot of times, it was when he was time wasting against Chelsea, but even against Wolves as well. Even when we scored a goal, he's showing so much passion for the shirt. He's bleeding lily white. He just looks at home. He looks like he actually loves the club. He actually wants to play for this football club, and it's just so nice to see as a fan. Emerson. Well, I forgot to give a rating. Vicario for me, 9 out of 10. Definitely 9 out of 10 so far. Great. And then Porro as well, 9 out of 10 too. Now, I don't want you to think I'm being too generous with these ratings. I truly believe that Vicario and Porro are having a great season for us as well. Next, we're going to go on to a more mediocre season. Emerson Royale. He's doing his job. He's a useful member of the squad. He shouldn't be starting, but he should be trusted when he comes in. He's not a left-back. He's not a left-back at all. I don't really want to see him at left-back. I know we didn't really have much of a choice, but yeah, he's a dependable player. He's having a 5 out of 10 season. And I consider, for me, I don't do 6 as the average, I do 5 as the average. So for me, 5 out of 10, he's having an average season. Nothing great, nothing bad. He's a fine player, he's fine. And what I would like to see, actually, because for me, he's hopeless going forward. And in a inverted fullback role, when he's playing at left back, he kind of has to play. He has to play in midfield, and he has to play like a playmaker. And he's just woeful going forward. I want to see him at right centre back. I want to see, and if Phillips doesn't come in, I want to see Davis, and I want to see Royale next to him, because I think Royale's got a lot more athleticism, a lot more pace. And I think he might be a better tackler. He might not be as good as aerially as Dyer or vocally. But I trust Royale a lot more at centre-back than I would Eric Dyer. And I don't want to be too harsh on Dyer. It's just, he's given us so many years he's given us great joy over the years. But the last 2 years have just been too painful. And we have to move on. But I won't keep talking about him. Anyway, Davis as well. A solid player, Davis is. Another 5 out of 10. He played well against Wolves, though. He did play well against Wolves. He bailed out Dyer a lot of times. So, I can't complain too much about Davis. 5 out of 10, a solid player, It's time for us to move on, yeah, but he's not the first one we should be moving on, is what I'm saying. Not at all. He's not the first one we should be moving on. There's other players that need to be moved on far quicker. Then we have Eric Dyer. Look, it looked like there was a bit of a remontada going off when he put in that performance against Chelsea. When he knocked in that equaliser that was disallowed, the limbs in my room, the limbs were crazy. I was watching with my boy Scott, and we were going crazy because we thought, 2-2 Eric Dyer come back, and disallowed. And he did well, Dyer. He did well, but then he started against Wolves and just ruined everything again. And 4 out of 10 for me, because I've not really seen much of him this season. But the things I have seen is just not good enough, of course. Now, Romero probably would be a 9 out of 10, but it has to be an 8 out of 10, because Now, his aggression and his front-footedness is so key to how Tottenham play, and you'll notice against Wolves we're lacking a lot of bite as well as creativity. So a lot of our front-footed players, such as like Madders and Udogie and Romero as well, and we're lacking a lot of that front-footedness, players that actually want the ball at their feet and want to play football. We're lacking a lot of that right now. Romero is a big part of that. His aggression is so beautiful to see. When he's doing it right, he's a beautiful defender to watch because his aggression is calculated, it's precise. But when he loses his head in those pressured environments, the tackles are just nasty and unnecessary, and it's costing us points. And you can't be the vice captain of this club if you're costing us points like that. And I think he'll take that to heart. I hope he takes that to heart. And he really improves, because we can't afford to drop any more points, because that red card was the catalyst of everything that went wrong. Right now, it's the catalyst of everything that went wrong that's going on right now at all, and it all stems from that. But he's been imperious other than that, so it has to be an 8 out of 10. I can't give it any higher. Van de Ven, 10 out of 10, flawless, absolutely flawless. He's exceeded all expectations. A lot of us wanted Tap Sober, and I can't believe not more clubs were sniffing around him for 40 million. What a signing we've had here. He's so tall. He's 6'4" or 6'5", left-footed as well. One of the fastest players in the Bundesliga last season. Unbelievable athlete. The only concern I have is that he had a hamstring injury last season as well, and now he's got a hamstring injury now. And the problem with these tall, quick players, they're prone to these injuries a lot. And now it's 2 hamstring injuries in 2 seasons, so I'm really hoping we don't rush his recovery, because he looks so special. And he's getting so many plaudits from other rival fans too, and it's so refreshing to see. He's just so quick, and he's so key to the Postecoglou system. Losing him, for me, was worse than losing Madders. As amazing and front-footed and creative as Madders is, I still feel like we'll still be able to carve stuff out, like we did for the first goal against the Wolves. We'll still be able to do something, but defending-wise, Van de Ven is our by far most important player. So losing him, detrimental. And he's not back till like Jan. I just hope we don't rush it though. I really hope he's okay. Udogie, it's been a baptism of fire. He's gone up against the league's best wingers already, and he's done well. He's done really well, and a lot of those big games he's had yellow cards early, and he's done so well to hold his discipline. Until that Chelsea game, he's held his discipline so well all season. He's done so well all season. That's why he's a 9 out of 10, because that Chelsea mistake drops him from a 9.5 to a 9. Other than that, he's just been so good for his age. He's so calm and calculated on the ball, and he was playing wing back at Udinese last season. And a lot of talk was about how can he convert to an inverted fullback role. But he wants the ball so much, and when he receives the ball, he's calm on the ball, he's confident. And he recently made his debut for the Azzurri. He played against England as well, actually. And so he's got 2 caps for the Azzurri now. And he's going to be going to the Euros of Italy. Have Italy qualified? I hope so. He's looking generational. For his age, he might be the best 20-year-old left back in the world. I don't know, or I can't think of any other 20-year-old left backs as good as him, or as playing to a high level as he is. Unbelievable. Basuma, such a good player. We've really seen the Brighton Basuma back this season. He's controlling the tempo. It's almost Dembele-esque as well, because I think a lot of responsibility is given from Postecoglou, the licence to receive the ball, the licence to roam. He's taken on that responsibility well. Although, as I said, ever since that red card against the 2 yellows against Luton, which is just a petulant dive, I don't understand players that dive so much. I know a lot of times that referees will give fouls for theatric play, but it's like you've got to be smarter when you're on a yellow card, and that just wasn't smart at all. And he's just been playing really scared recently. I hope now that he's suspended for Aston Villa that he'll come back stronger against Man City. I think City's our game after Villa. That's quite the game to come back to. I think it is anyway. Yeah, that's quite a tough game to come back to, but I hope that the rest does him well and he'll be back to his composed self again. Sarr, yeah, beautiful. I don't know why Conte didn't use him more. I swear he started at the San Siro and he started the North London derby, and he was probably our best player in both ties. And then we just didn't see him again at all. Didn't start again, and he started basically every game this season, and he's just been looking phenomenal. He's an all-action midfielder, and I think I was reading an article from Alistair Gold, and he was I think he fired a question to Postecoglou and was asking him, so how do you see Pat Matasar's development going? What type of midfielder do you think he's going to become? And I think Ange said that well, he's playing almost every midfield role right now. He's so young and he's so athletic, and he's got so much stamina that he can currently play every role. So for me, here's hoping he can be at least even like 20% of a Yaya Toure. That would be incredible. I'd love to, but he's got to do his own thing. He's going to forge his own path. So I really like him. He's one of my favourite players. But yeah, definitely 8 out of 10. I'd like to see more creativity contribution from him. But you know, he's so young. He's 20. We're going to see it. He's going to get plenty of time to impress me more as well. Højbjerg, I like when he's come off the bench. I like the combative nature of him, and I feel like at another club, Højbjerg could be a top player, just not at Tottenham. He doesn't suit Tottenham anymore. Somewhere like Atletico Madrid, he would suit so well. For now, a 6 out of 10. He's above average, yeah, slightly above average. There's nothing to complain about really, but he's just not what your typical Ange Postecoglou midfielder looks like. But no hate to him at all. Skip, Ollie Skip. I think for me he does still leave a lot to be desired. He's a hard worker, but I really want to see him define himself in a midfield role more. I personally want to see him define himself as a tough tackling 6. But of course, I'm no expert on what position Skip should take up. I can only offer my opinion. I feel like due to his attributes, skill set, he would work better as a tough tackling 6 rather than a box-to-box midfielder or as a creative midfielder or a goal-scoring midfielder. I just feel like as soon as he develops a bit more of that nastiness and that tenacity, he's going to be good. But I feel like he needs another loan to like a Premier League side, to like a relegation battling Premier League side where he can play every game and he can be involved in a relegation scrap and build that grit. I think that will benefit him so much. For now, it's just an average season, 5 out of 10. Madders, 10 out of 10. He's just been electric, and I can't believe it took us 4 years to replace Eriksen. For 4 years we didn't have this. We had this like void in attacking midfield of no creativity, and I'm so glad it's back, because what's Tottenham Hotspur without a beautiful playmaker? We've had beautiful playmakers throughout the club's history, like Ginola, Hoddle, Modric, Dembele, Eriksen, well not so much Dembele. But yeah, I'm so glad we've got someone like Madders at this club. He lives and breathes Tottenham Hotspur now too. And yeah, he's come a long way from his old Gareth Bale tweets in 2013. He's just looking like a beautiful footballer, and he's earning so many plaudits, even a Player of the Month as well. He's just so good. He's the crown in the jewel of our side, and it's just such a disappointment he's been injured. Like, he's a big player to miss, and Lo Celso's going to have a hell of a time filling his boots if we actually let Lo Celso try. And it's so disappointing that he's out. And then we got Kulusevski. For me, it's a quiet 8.5 out of 10, or 8 out of 10 actually, because I still want to see more goal assist involvement. I know he's doing so much chance creation, and he is actually topping the stats for distance covered at the minute. So he's not only is he high on chance creation, he's really high on distance covered. So he's doing so much work in the team, and I do really appreciate that. But for someone that's playing in our front line, I'd like to see more of the goal and assists. There's a lot of times where he's cutting inside, and it's so predictable that he's going to shoot. And he unleashes such like a weak left-footed curler recently, and yeah, he's just going to improve on that aspect. He was scoring good goals last season, or 2 seasons ago. I don't remember. He's been a while now actually. Yeah, I just want to see that little bit more. But I really appreciate what he's doing for us. So if I just write a little bit more, maybe I'm being greedy, but if you're going to be an elite player, you need to squeeze that little bit more out. Brennan's looking electric. This is quite a high rating I'm giving him because he's not had many appearances at all. He's not even completed a full 90. He's been given like increments here and there. I think he's only completed like 250 minutes of football so far. But in that time, like 2 or 3 disallowed goals, 2 assists or 1 assist, a goal as well. He's just looking electric, even just putting the goals and assists aside. He's looking like a really quick footballer. He's looking really switched on. Now, he's not going to be too involved in intricate midfield link-up play, but if he's playing a 1-2 and he's running at defenders, that's where I like him. He's looking really aggressive, really attacking. So I'm very happy with Brennan, how he's doing so far. And I want to see more from him. And we're only going to see more from him as well, and because we've had so many injuries on the left flank with Solomon and Perisic out. So Brennan and Richarlison injured too and misfiring. So we're only really going to see Brennan, so I'm really excited to see how he drags us through this rough patch. Mentioned Richarlison. Look, Richie's not been terrible. He's not been great. I've given him a 6 out of 10, a slightly above average, because he is getting those goal involvements in the minutes he's playing. 3 or 4 assists, 2 or 3 goals. It's not the end of the world. It leaves a lot to be desired. For the 60 million price tag we paid, it's a lot of money. 60 million worth at all, and he's sort of on his last chance with us. Like, this is last resort, Richie. When he comes back from injury, he needs to start banging them in. He needs to start providing the assists, because a lot of us are getting really impatient, and a lot of people, unlike me, just want him gone already. Now, I want to give him a bit more time, but he's really testing our patience. And I don't know how long I can carry on supporting him for, but we'll see when he comes back from injury. You never know. We've had Sissoko on a mad redemption arc, so why can't we have Richie as well? And then, of course, we'll finish off the player ratings with our captain, Sonny. 9 out of 10 for me as well. To fill the goal-scoring boots of Harry Kane. Madders is feeling the creative boots of Harry Kane, but to fill the goal-scoring boots of Harry Kane is incredible. Now, we do know, and we've always known, that whenever Kane's been unavailable for Tottenham in the past, Son's been the man. In the Champions League, Son's been the man. He's always stepped up. Always. And that's the type of player he is. He's a top player. And he's really rediscovered himself as a finisher in the box. We're not seeing his usual play from the wings at all. He's playing central now. He's so instinctive. He's getting so many cutbacks. He's really instinctive. He's looking phenomenal playing as a number 9. And he's really filling Kane's boots. And that captaincy role has been so good with him. Now, I wrote an article for the Spurs web, I think in like July, that Son should be our next captain, not Harry Kane. Even if Kane stayed, I wrote an article citing that Son should be our captain, not Harry Kane, because for 2 reasons. Son is a character who is universally loved in the dressing room. He's always got a smiling demeanour. He's always making the best effort to blood in new players, to blood in youth players. He gets on with everyone, and he's part of all the cliques. He's welcome in all the cliques. Harry Kane's a more lead by example type rather than lead by physical leadership, And Sonny's so good at, bringing people together. Also, another reason I believe that Son should have been captain over Kane. 2021, arguably one of the club's lowest points. The summer of 2021, that managerial search, ending up with Nuno, Conference League football, Harry Kane missing training, wanting to go to Man City. And guess who signs a new contract? A new long-term contract? Sonny. Through all that adversity, Sonny repays the faith that we showed him with the Asia Games, and he repaid the faith by signing a new contract with us. And for me, that is Mr. Tottenham, and ever since then, he's been my Mr. Tottenham. He had earned that captaincy from 2021, and I would have given it to him ages ago. so glad he's our captain, and I'm so glad that everyone's seen him. And I wrote a piece advocating for that. And I didn't have too many people agree with me. But I wonder what they would say now, because I believe he's the best captain choice we could have possibly made. And I'm so glad Postecoglou saw that as well. Of course, there's people I haven't mentioned, like Lo Celso, Hill, Valise, Solomon. We've just not seen enough from them, whether that's through injuries or lack of involvement. So when they're back more, I'll do another little catch-up midway through the season at how the season's going as well. I'm also going to put out another article piece about 7 academy prospects I see making an impact on the first team in 2026. So I'm going to write my article for that and then produce an accompanying video for that too. So that, actually, I might film that. I could actually film that tonight even as well, or probably tomorrow. So I should have some videos coming out more, as well as the articles as I'm ramping up production. A lot of them. So anyway, yeah, we can't be too upset about our position because the lack of quality and depth is showing right now. We knew that to begin with. We know this is a project. We lost Harry Kane. We knew we had a lack of depth. Times are going to be tough sometimes. Back the manager, back the players. Celtic fans told us as well that this is what it's going to be like too in the first few months. We're just lucky to have put together a mad winning streak. But anyway, keep the faith in Postecoglou, and the man who has won 3 manager of the months in a row can't be a bad manager at all. So just back the manager, back the players, keep the faith, and let's hope we do Villa, and it sets us into good stead going into the big fixtures against Man City.